Look Like TV. We are back. If you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe button for me. Help me grow. But on this one, we're going to get into what I feel about Andrew Tate. Now, upon initially seeing this guy, I really didn't catch on to him. I ain't hear nothing about him when Kevin Samuels was alive. And to me, he kind of got hot right after Kevin Samuels, and he rode the wave. But from the time that I first set sights on my man, something just didn't sit right with me about him. I couldn't put my finger on it. Even if he was dead on with his information, something about him just didn't sit right with me. And he never sat right with me. But I noticed early on, the thing that was getting me about him was the fact that, to me, he came across like a pimp. He reminded me heavily of the old Pimps Up, Hoes Down HBO documentary. He gave me strong vibes of that. Even if he was being honest in that moment, he was a very dishonest character. And I got that vibe. And I know when I say, Pimping 2.0, you're probably like, how am I making this correlation? But I'm going to show you a clip that's going to explain it. And this is from that HBO documentary, Pimps Up, Hoes Down. Then I'm going to show you a clip of him. And you done seen plenty more clips of him that you can just piece together yourself. But I'm going to show you him in his own words, saying that these are the guys that he modeled himself after. And I'm going to show you the guys that he modeled himself after. So let's slide over here and let's check the documentary out.
Okay, now say for instance you say the woman's supposed to look up at the sky, she don't supposed to look at another pimp. But what happens if she do?
Now real fast, they're going to explain pimping across the generations right now. They're going to explain right now, and they're going to explain pimping in the 80s and 90s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Then my man going to explain to you, you know what I mean, what's going on right now presently in 1997. Then you could just imagine where these guys take it in the future.
Them things, how do you break it down and keep her in order?
This is a new era of time now. This ain't the era with, the stacks and the afros and the long perms, you know what I'm saying? At that time, man, pimping was on a different level. That's when you had brothers like Don Juan, you know what I'm saying, Chocolate Dice, you know what I'm saying, Bobby Hill, you know what I'm saying, Tommy Dixon, Sonny Page, Rob.
It's always been pimps on a high scale. Always.
If a hoe got out of pocket, then, man, a pimp, you know what I'm saying, he would virtually kill his hoe. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he beat him with iron cords, you know what I'm saying?
Man, when it come time to check them, if they get out of line, they was gonna be checked. What I mean is by checking them is the chick get out of pocket with you, man. I mean, hanger whooping, whip whooping, stick whooping. I mean, man, it was beautiful, man. I mean, but it was real, Jack. I mean, if a chick stood up under that, man, you know you had you a good thoroughbred, Jack, that was ready for the track.
See, and he's referring to the 70s and the 80s. Maybe early 90s. Now we're going to get into the 90s, into the 2000s. Now remember, this documentary is from 1997. This is 25 plus years old. This VHS tape right here probably has circulated so much. This is probably one of the #1 bootlegs back when I was in college in 93. I mean, back when I was in college in the late, you know what I mean, early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. This was a bootleg classic right here.
So it was a lot of things back then that I learned that I had to change. Because now, pimping is on a different level. You see, you got all these domestic laws, the women that's standing up, you know what I'm saying, sending men to jail for domestic abuse, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean, if a man out here in 1997 pimping, you know what I'm saying, he better have some science and a lot of knowledge, you know what I'm saying, to go with it.
if I got into this pimping thing, I want to do it the right way and learn some of the unwritten rules.
That's why I was talking about the seminar, so that we can get players to come down there and bring their grievance, their problem, how to catch a hooker, what you do to be a boss player, what do I say to my wife when I decided that I wanted to be a true player and walk out on the family. We need a seminar so we can teach these guys to give them the right understanding so they'll know, man.
Pimp, basically, you know what I'm saying?
Now this guy right here, he's going to use a lot of words to get to a basic idea that's just the fundamentals of pimping. Don't let him dilute the message. He's going to use a lot of words, but he's going to show you what the whole objective and goal is. Don't get lost. Here it comes.
Produces his product, which is his woman. So that woman is based on the knowledge and the wisdom that the pimp exhibit or the pimp give to the young lady or to the woman. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, you know what I'm saying, really as far as unwritten rules is concerned, you know what I'm saying, the rules, you know what I'm saying, don't change, but you understand the game vary, you know what I'm saying, depending on the pimp. And you got to be able to control a woman's mind without necessarily, you know what I'm saying, applying physical abuse. You see what I'm saying?
He said all that just to get to that. You have to be able to control a woman's mind without physical abuse. That was the transition of the game in the late 90s to the early 2000s.
And this the level of the game we in.
How you doing that?
Well, you know, I mean, it all depends on, you know, I mean, almost you got to be virtually a psychologist. You see what I'm saying? You got to be a manipulator. You know what I'm saying? You got to be a dream seller. You know what I'm saying? You got to take a person, you know what I'm saying, from one extreme to another extreme, making them believe, you know what I'm saying, in you. Control a woman's mind without necessarily, you know what I'm saying, applying physical abuse. You see what I'm saying? And this the level of the game we in.
How you doing that?
Well, you know, I mean, it all depends on, you know, I mean, almost you got to be virtually a psychologist. You see what I'm saying? You got to be a manipulator. You know what I'm saying? You got to be a dream seller. You know what I'm saying? You got to take a person, you know what I'm saying, from one extreme to another extreme, making them believe, you know what I'm saying, in you to the point, whereas if you tell them that this is going to happen, then this is what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's the level of the game that we in.
Right there. You got that first hand. You got that first hand. You got that first hand. You have to be able to manipulate and sell dreams. And my man always came across to me that the whole underlying point of his message was manipulating and selling dreams. He even had people actually tell me, no, he loves his wife. Of course he does. She's his bottom bitch. And if you watch that documentary, it'll explain to you all about it. But if you think that I'm stretching this truth about him following the pimp handbook, if you think that I'm making it up, I have it in his own words that this is the rule book that he is following. Let's take it over here. I couldn't find a video myself, so I had to get a little piece off this guy's website. Let me get his name for you real fast before we use a little piece of his stuff. Attorney Bruce Rivers. We're going to use a little clip, Bruce. But let's hear what Andrew Tate has to say in this clip.
I knew some street pimps. I've known them for a long time. Straight street pimping is a completely, in fact, no, it's not a completely different game. The psychological aspect is the same.
So, now I'm not taking things out of context. He's saying the psychological aspect of what he's going to be doing is the exact same psychological aspect of street pimping, and that is control.
Of what we're going to do. The skill I'm going to teach you is exactly the same. I could easily translate mine to a street business, and you could easily street pimp with the things I'm going to teach you. But I didn't want no one else fucking my girl. That's the truth. My girls. I want to fuck my girls. I want some other guy fucking my girls. What the fuck's the point in that? So, long story short, blah, 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 blah. Discovered webcam and went from there. Flew all.
That's all we pretty much needed from that. But if you notice, he was talking the same thing as the pimp in the previous video. Talking about how he could teach you. He could share this information with you. All it is Pimping 2.0. That's all it is. Pimping 2.0. Now, it's enough Andrew Tate clips out there that you could piece together your own little Andrew Tate proof clip of all this. But with all that being said, if you follow the rule book, and this is what you into, then you have to know this part of the game also.
Had an argument with another prostitute on the stroll, and the girl shot her dead. I went to the funeral. The girl had spent over 10 years with me, man, dedicated. One incident happened when I was pimping on her that, man, I used to have girls that would work, man, get shot in the leg, run home, tie something around the leg, and go right back to work. I'm telling you, dedication in the pimp gang, man, it's costly. It's going to affect the pimp as well as the prostitute because they're going to have to go through something to be in that pimp gang.
Close for 20, late for 30.
I used to tell people when I was deep into that pimp gang, man, I used to sleep with one eye open. They said, well, why would you do that? I said, because I never know. The chick might come in mad and want to stab me in the heart, or the police may kick the door down, or somebody might come in with the girl to rob. You could never completely rest. You have to always be on your P's and Q's.
So what do I feel about Andrew Tate? I don't feel any type way about Andrew Tate. I think the Magic Don Juan just summed it up. You know what game you playing. You know what you doing. You gotta take the things that come with the game. And with how you spoke and how you was the smartest guy in the room all the time, you should have seen this coming. Especially in 2023, 2022. That's how I feel. So however the chips fall, the chips fall. But when you're pimping, bad things gonna happen. Just about every pimp out there that made it big, made it super big, and you probably made it bigger than all of them, they all tell you that at the end of that road, it's not gonna be nice. So y'all tell me how y'all feel about it and what y'all think about it in the comments section. How y'all feel about Andrew Tate? This isn't about his teachings. This is just about him, the case, what's going on. Let me know. This is what it look like TV. I appreciate everybody for spending a couple minutes in the time. If you ain't hit that like and subscribe button yet, do me a favor and do that. And I'll check y'all out on the next one. I'm out of here.